Hello everyone, in this video we're going to have a look at 2D arrays, how to access them, how to input data into them, how to initialize them, declare them, how to, things like that, perform operations on them. So as we know already, we declare an array like this. We have a variable and then we give the size. So we're going to create a 3 times 3 array, and the way to do that would be like this: 3 times 3. Okay, that's how you create a 2D array. Now the first square brackets indicates the row, the first number indicates the row, the second one indicates the columns, and of course you can go in how many dimensions you want. So this would be a 3 by 3, this would be this would be a 3 by 3 by 3 by 3. This is like a 4-dimensional array. You'd use it in data science, alright. And one concept where you would actually use a 2D array, if you can, if you know about a matrix, you've worked with with matrices, then you would know that we use a 2D array. It's more or less symbolizes a matrix, a 2 by 2 matrix, or a 3 by 3. This indicates a matrix. Alright, so how do we now, since we declared it, how do we actually go ahead and actually put values inside of it? Or the traditional way, actually you can come over here and you can initialize like that and put in values like that, like that, like that, like that, and keep on going. But we usually do use a loop, so I'm gonna go that route. Okay, so we're gonna use a for loop. Alright, and for int I equals 0, I not equal to, alright, and now not equal to what? Well, the first thing you're gonna do is not equal to 3, okay, because you're gonna have one loop that loops through the rows. The second loop, we're gonna have two loops. Alright, they're gonna be nested, so it's going to be a nested loop. The first one is going to be the rows, the second one is going to be the columns. So we're going to have a 3 here, okay, meaning 3 rows, and then of course you have to increment it. Alright, so we have that done. Okay, that's the first loop. Now this loop is called the outer loop, which is going to loop through the rows. Okay, so it's going to go row 1, row 2, row 3, and each row has columns, doesn't it? So this is the number of columns, this is the number of rows. Let me just comment this, R, C. Okay, basically R and C. That's how it is. The rows and the columns, A, R, C. That's how the array is, the 2D array. Next you want to do, I'm just going to indent it. So you're going to say for int. Now here you're not going to use I, because I refers to this variable over here. We're going to use another variable, say j. Okay, we're going to use j, and we're going to say j is not equal to 3. The traditional way, just increment j, the traditional way you would see something like this, right? I is less than or equal to 3, then just run the loop. But I like to use this way. I mean, it's much easier, it's unique as well. It works still. It might not be effective, but no, it is effective, but the other one might be better to use, but I like to use not equal to. Both of them work. Now this inner loop is for the columns. Okay, that's what it is. Columns. Alright, so this is for the columns, this is for the rows. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna say cout, or maybe let's just input data. Okay, we're gonna say we're gonna cout, we're gonna say enter data on row, and let's just say row index. Row index would be I, and then we're going to say call index j. Alright, and of course endl, or maybe not endl, we're just gonna do that, something like that, let's just check if that works, if it runs. Let's just see. I'm gonna run the program, and it's compiling. Basically, oh, it actually works. Yeah, it actually does work. Perfect, it works. Now what we just need to do is actually cin. Okay, so we're gonna tell the user to put this value in, and then once he does, actually we're gonna run the cin command, and we're gonna input the data at the corresponding index. So we're gonna have two brackets just like that, and the first one of course was the row number, so we're gonna put the variable for that, and the second was the column. So that's how it is. Now let's run it. Enter data on row index 0, call index 1. Let me just put a space, by the way. I'm just going to put a space like that, and I'm going to put a space like that, and let's rerun it. So here we are. Enter data on row index 0, call index 0, basically the first one. So we're just going to put 1. Enter data on row 0. So basically it's working, and I want you to take note of something. See, it's a 3 by 3, so we have row 0. Alright, when row 0 is not row 0, row index, index is indexes always start at 0, so the row that has an index of 0, okay, there's 3 rows, or no, not 3 rows, there's 3 mentions, or I don't know how to explain, but 3 records here, instances. Alright, when the compiler printed out a 0 onto this black window, this terminal, and we have a problem. Okay, so there's 3 incidences, meaning this each time you can see that the row, there's 3 times of the same row. Okay, 3 times the same row is printed out, and in each instance of the same row you can see that 0, 1, 2, so there's 3 instances of the column. So in each row there's 3 columns, so it's a 3 by 3. Alright, then we're just going to put some other integer here, and you can see that. Now what I want to do is I want to actually print out my 2D array. How do you do that? Well, do it like this. You have the same method. What you can actually do is just copy this. It's the same exact method. So you can just copy these 2 nested loops, and instead of, I'm just going to go ahead and remove this line, it's not necessary. Okay, so what you're going to do now is you're going to say cout instead of cin. Okay, so just replace the cout with the replace that with the cout. Alright, and now if we actually go in, and I'm just gonna put an endl just for making it look a bit better. Endl, sure. Okay, now let's just run the program and see how our 2D array works. We have 1. I'm gonna put 1 in at that. I'm gonna put 0, then I'm gonna put a 1, then I'm gonna put a 0, then I'm gonna put a 1, 0. Just continue like that. Not a 10. So you can see that it actually works like this: 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. So you can see that we first entered 1, then we entered 0, then we entered 1, then we entered 0 into the array. So that's how you do a 2D array. Of course you can adapt this a bit further to actually display and see out like a matrix does, if you want to, so you can actually look how how it's a matrix. Let me just have give it a shot. Maybe in Python actually you use the NumPy library framework to actually kind of like you would use the NumPy library for something like an array. So there when you print stuff to the terminal, it actually prints it in the form of a matrix with the brackets and stuff, but here it doesn't do that. So let me just try this out. I'm gonna enter 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. Okay, that's a different thing. 1, 1, 1, 1. Alright, actually I forgot to okay, I'm just gonna put 1 digit. 2, 3, 6, 7, right, so just keep it 7, put a 9. So you can see it actually prints out like that, much more organized. That's our 2D array. So you can see it's a 3 by 3 array. So there we go. If you want to display it as a matrix, use this code. Thanks for watching.